Hey everyone, I'm David, founder at Stately, and apologies for the echo. I am recording in a room. We're in Romania right now, or at least I am, and this is for JS Heroes. So yeah, just finding a good place to record, and we're also joined by Farzad.
Hey, yeah. I think people know us, but I'm Farzad, software engineer at the Stately.
Yeah, and now I know how late it is for you because it is pretty late here as well. I don't know if it's the
We're on
same
the
time
same time
zone
zone. Yeah,
or
it's the
something
same time
different.
zone.
All right. So last week we attempted to upgrade to XState v5, and also we were implementing some drag and drop stuff. So I made a silly mistake last time, and it was actually easier than I realized to upgrade to XState v5. What I forgot to do was to upgrade all of the invocations. So I went ahead and did that, and let me point out to you some of the differences here now that this is actually XState v5. And you could see in the files over here, this should show a beta. You can't really see it that well, but this shows 5 beta. So yeah, it is running v5. So there's a few differences. One of them is in the types. So this should actually be types. And then we have the context, the events. That's all the same. The invoke stuff, we now use from callback. So it used to be this, really awkward looking, and now it's a more explicit from callback. And then you would pass the callback in there. Everything else is the same. We have send back. You could receive if you want to. So that's all good. Another huge difference is that we have variables in our arguments like context, events, and other things destructured from the first argument. So we talked about that a little bit last time, so I'm just reiterating it here. Let's see if there's any other differences. Everything else looks pretty much the same. Yeah, so let's take a look at how far we've actually come over here. I actually undid some logic so that we could redo it today now that we're in v5, but we still have our selecting logic. If I press escape, then nothing happens. So let's actually figure that out real quick. We have key down.
So hey, Steve says Code Sandbox could have a better package management experience. I think they're on to some changes. They've been announcing some stuff lately on Twitter. Yeah, but everything can be improved.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I'm super thankful to to Code Sandbox for everything that they've done so far. But yeah. So you could double click. You could I selected. Oh, okay, yeah. So I remember what I did. When you're selecting, if you press escape, then it goes back to normal. And of course, if you click outside, then you're going to get rid of that selection. But
wait. Yep. Did you add that offline? So if you drag and select a bunch of boxes, then okay. So while you're dragging to select, you press escape, and that cancels the interaction. Did you add that already?
Yeah, that was added previously.
Oh, okay. We did it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Yeah, and of course you could also delete. There we go. Could make some more. Delete some. Everything works. One thing I did change though was this. So if we look at the, let's take a look over here at the canvas, I'm doing this. If events.target is not equal to the event.currentsTarget, then return. So the target, I might get these mixed up, but the target is where we're actually attaching the event listener, and the currentsTarget is where the event was caught. So if my pointer goes down over here, then the events target and the event current target are the same. But if the pointer goes down inside this box or this shape, then it's not the same. So we're just going to short circuit, get out of that, and not actually start the box. And the reason we're doing that is so that our drag and drop actually works.
So this means discarding makes sure that you can't drag and start a selection box while you're on those orange boxes, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to add some pointer logic to the actual shapes. So we're in the shape over here. I'm going to say on pointer. Actually, hold on. Do I have access to? Oh yeah, I have access to the canvas context, so I could just grab the send method and I could just send events to it.
What are we
So-
trying to add, David?
Oh, so we're going to try to add back the drag and drop stuff, except we're going to do it better than last time. So we have on pointer down, on pointer move.
Does that mean that you wanna implement dragging the boxes around or panning the
Exactly.
canvas?
We're going to
Okay.
drag the boxes. Yeah.
Okay, so we remove the previous implementation.
Yes. We still have that dragging state, but yeah. So we are going to grab, this is using the new create actor context from XState, and we're actually using the beta version, which doesn't really change that many things. I'm going to grab let's call this canvas ref equals canvas context dot use actor ref. And this is our actor. And we have canvas ref dot send where we could send it events. So canvas ref dot send, and this is just going to be type shape dot pointer down. So instead of canvas dot pointer down, now we have shape dot pointer down. And it's going to yell at us for, because we have these over here. Okay. So what I want to do is when we're pressing down, we still don't know whether we're dragging or not. So we have to go into this sort of determining state. So I'm going to add over here, and Farzad, if you want to add the type, then that'll be super helpful.
No. All the joy and fun is yours.
Okay. So we're going to go to target, just determining. And determining.
For anybody who wants to know a little bit more reasoning about what this state is, we discussed this in details in the previous stream. So if you subscribe to the Stately channel on YouTube, there's a bunch of playlists from the live streams that me and David have been doing for a couple of months. Actually, we've built a lot of stuff on live streams. This is the fourth episode of the series where we try to model a canvas diagramming application, much like the Stately Studio. So we discussed this in details in the previous stream, which was episode 3.
And over here we have on pointer move. We're just going to send shape dot pointer move.
This is lovely, right? Because you're just sending events to a state machine that magically handles all the logic. You don't have anything collocated inside the components.
Yeah, exactly. So you see we are in determining, and then when I lift my pointer up, not sure if you could see the camera and the screen at the same time, it's going from determining back to normal.
Yeah, and we don't know whether we want to drag it or, we don't know where we're going. Sorry, David, I'm just commentating on what you do.
No, this is good. And so here's the thing. If your pointer goes down and then up without you moving the pointer, chances are you're just clicking that element. So you actually want to select it. So we're going to make this an object, and we're going to select that object. So this is going to be actions, assign, and we are going to just make this a selection. So we have the selection. I believe that's what it's called. Again, the TypeScript it's not XState's fault. The TypeScript just doesn't work too well in Code Sandbox sometimes. But we have a selection, and we are going to just, actually, we don't have that information, do we? we don't have the, the shape that was being targeted.
Not yet.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and add that. So we have target shape, and this is just going to be a shape ID. So this is a string. Right.
Yeah, because we can get all the information we want from the shapes, whatever is that. Like that's an array or object or something.
Exactly. So actions, assign, and we're going to assign the target shape, should be target shape ID, to events dot shape ID. And so what I'm thinking is that in our selection, we're going to read this from the context. In our selection, we are going to grab the shape with that ID, and that's going to be the selection. So const selected shape equals context dot
Shapes.
shapes dot
Probably fine because it's an array.
oh yeah, you're right. So this is going to be find shape where shape.id is context dot target shape. And then we're going to return selected shape. We're going to be optimistic and assume that it exists. But yeah, that's going to be the selection. Let me just check something real quick. We have create machine types over here. This should be typed. I'm not sure why it's failing. Yeah, it's just giving us a plain any over here. And so
Can
that's
you
why.
restart the TypeScript language service using the command palette here?
Can I? Oh, I guess I could. Let's try that.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that like 10 times per day.
Seriously. Okay, see, it doesn't give me any type information. Okay, so we're going to be doing this as if we have no TypeScript, as scary as that sounds, and we are, yeah, we're just going to be doing this as if we're just programming normal JavaScript, unfortunately. But eventually, when I do this in VS Code, we're going to show the full types. Okay, so now we want to actually pass in that shape ID. Otherwise, this won't work. So let's go.
If you were using XState v4, you should have enabled a flag called predictable action argument, I guess, right? So that when you on pointer down, you're saving this to the context, and there was no guarantee that it would have the same priority, so that it's available in the context on the next event in v4.
Right.
You should have relied on the event payload that was passed around in the machine. But now in v5, that's just on by default, so we're good.
Ooh, do I have types?
I mean, you do,
Maybe
yeah.
I do.
The inline expressions sometimes don't get like the full time from TypeScript.
Well, it's strange because it absolutely should. And if you're doing this in VS Code, then you're going to see that it does do that. So anyway, we have our shapes. Click down, click up. And it's, yeah, we're still not getting that, but I'm probably missing something. Let's see, we have shape.pointer down. We are passing in the shape ID. So I could also do this. Assign, and then this context console.log context, just to see what's going on over here. Okay, so yeah, we have target shape, we have our shape ID, and so that should be part of the selection when we do shape.pointer up. So let's see. And our selection is 0.
Shouldn't your selection work based on the shape ID? You're passing the entire shape onto that array on line 139.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Wow. What was I doing wrong? Selected shape object, and then we're passing the entire object. Okay.
But you don't even have to find it now, right?
There you go.
You can just pass it around from the event, David. From the context, I mean, sorry. Get the context.target shape and pass it around to the selected. You don't even have to find it anymore.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. Wow. Farzad, you're a genius. So I don't need any of this.
No, it's easy to see somebody's coding than to be the one coding.
Exactly. You are my live debugger. So we could select just by clicking now, which is awesome. And so you might be thinking like, oh, hey, why don't I just use onClick? And so onClick is actually, it's weird because it's a combination of those on pointer down, on pointer up with a threshold and stuff like that. So onClick is actually much more complex of an event handler than you might think, because it's a combination of things. And on DoubleClick is double complex. So that's
Yeah.
why when you're working with a diagramming app, it's actually better to go with the lower level event handlers, such as on pointer down, on pointer up, and things like that.
There's
So-
also some intentional delay when you're dealing with touch. For example, unclicks are by default throttled for 300 millisecond, if I remember correctly, on mobile devices.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really strange rules on it. And so that's why in this, we're just going to be doing the very basics. We're not going to be doing any of the advanced interactions. So let's do shape.pointer move, and we're going to go to dragging now. So from dragging, you could guess that on shape.pointer up, we go back to normal. And we'll probably do some stuff, some logic in that transition, but for now, you see we're dragging, and then we go back up to normal. So that seems to work. And there is something called what is it, a pointer lock or something like that?
Pointer ID.
Well, so there's the pointer ID, but there is also you could lock the pointer to a certain element. So
that's so the reason that you want to lock the pointer onto a certain ID of a shape is because if you move your mouse too fast, you're exiting the area of that hit target, the orange box. But you still want the element that you're dragging to follow your mouse, like pretty much at the same speed rate. That's why you need to, and then you don't also want to trigger other pointer move or wheel events or something like that at the same time when you're hovering over all the elements when you get out of the box area. That's why you need to lock the pointer, and then also need to release it at the end of the interaction.
Yeah. So let me see where that's being done. Okay, so I think what it is events.target.set pointer capture, and then you have the event.pointer ID.
One question, David, sorry. If we have the pointer down that also handles the selection, why do we have this on-click handler?
It's a good question. Let's get rid of that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Let's try this again. Okay, so check this out. I put the pointer down, and now I'm dragging. And then even if I go over here, I'm not over this element. But because I have the pointer captured to that one, it's still as if I'm still interacting with that element. Yeah. And so that's why you have to on pointer up, on pointer cancel, release pointer capture. I think that works.
It no longer selects that.
It actually does. And it does only if I don't drag. So if I start dragging, then it's not going to, which is one of the really, really great properties of having a state machine, is that you have that ability
determine
to
the state.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, if I'm dragging, then no, I don't want to select, or maybe you do want to select it. Actually, that's actually probably a good idea. But in this case, we don't want to, because we might have multiple selected and we want to drag all of them. So we'll just play around with that logic a little bit. But yeah, let's actually move stuff. And so we're going to be using the same logic as last time, which, silly enough, I actually deleted. So we're going to redo, or I deleted most of it, but we still have start points and drag points, and we still have that start points and drag point logic over here. So at least we don't have to redo that. We just have to recapture what those points are. So we're going to go back to our shape.pointer down. And so in pointer down, this is going to be where we set the start points. So start points. And this is just going to be event.points. And we need to actually give it that point. So let's, actually, I'm just going to write this out, and then we're going to add those in eventually. So target dragging, Then we're going to assign, scroll up a little bit, drag points, and this is going to be, again, the events.points. So now if we go back to shape, we have shape.pointer down. We're going to add points here, which is going to be x, event.clients x, and y, event.clients y. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Shape.pointer move. We need the events.
Now we need to update the styles to assign those values to the.
It's weird. I see things moving around just really haphazardly, which tells me that I might be doing something wrong a little bit. I'm trying to remember what I did before.
Where do we persist these points to the position of the div?
Oh, good question. Actually, that might be the key.
I don't think we're doing that at all.
Yeah. So let's find out, and we're going to find out by just doing our pre-tag again, and we're just going to pass JSON.stringify state.context. Yeah, you want just the entire context. We'll see what happens. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the drag points is not being updated, which is very strange because we are dragging and then eventually we go back up. So shape dot move. We are giving it the event as we're moving it, but for some reason it's not giving us that every single time, which is very strange.
Do we even update the values of, like, do we even update the position of this box in JSX, in the styles, I mean, with the drag point? Because if you don't update, you get the same point.
Well, so
where are you using drag point?
Yeah, so it's based on the it's based on the pointer position.
No, I know, but like, are we using that drag point at the end to update the position of this box in DOM?
We are supposed to be, but the problem right now is that it's not being updated exactly. So here, let's fix that real quick.
Oh yeah, we are. Okay.
Yep. I'm actually going to, let's see, we have use actor, and I'm going to just console.log. Instead of having it over here, because it's moving the layout, state.context. So let's take a look.
Maybe just log the drag point.
Okay, yeah, I could do that if it decides to show me. Yeah, so drag point.
And yeah, maybe also clear the console.
Pretty big. And it's still, oh my gosh. Oh, that's because I have the ticks going on.
For the chaos red boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right, let's do this instead. On pointer move, there's our canvas.pointer move, but we are going to actually look for our shape.pointer move. And this turn event.point. And we're also going to console.log the events. All right, that's very strange that it's not actually.
Because you have this pointer move in determining, but you're in dragging state at that point.
You're right. Okay. Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah.
It's funny because I made the exact same mistakes about 2 days ago in Safety Studio.
Cool. Okay.
There you go.
Wow, you just there we go. That's awesome. That's wow, that's really good, except now it's running away from me. Why is it doing that? Oh, okay. So on shape pointer up, we need to clear everything else now. We have the delta points, but now we have to actually commit those delta points. So actions, assign, and so this is going to be for all the shapes that are moving, which should just be the selection. And so we're going to, obviously be editing the shapes, and going to take the context, and we're going to get the selected selected shapes. So selected shapes equals context.shapes dot filter shape, and then we're going to return context.selection dot includes shape dot id. So those are our selected shapes, and then we're going to apply the deltas to them. So for each of those shapes, so we're going to say selected shapes for each shape. Actually, sorry, we're going to return selected shapes dot map, and each shape we're going to change the x and y values. So we're going to return shape. Let me just make sure that, oh, I have it under position again. So position, we have x, and so this is going to be our context.dragPoint.x minus context.startPoint.x, and y, if I got those right, I might have those a
I
little
think you
bit backwards.
did. I think you did, yeah.
We'll see. We'll find out. If it's in the wrong position, then we know that we have to switch them.
Okay, because we were assigning the absolute values of drag point. We need the delta only. Okay.
Okay, so points. So this should be drag point, I believe, and this should be start point. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Okay, so this is shape.x plus that delta. Shape.y plus, unless someone in the comments says like, hey, actually it should be the other way. Minus, maybe. Disappears. So I must be doing something wrong. All right, so let's say that oops, that's running away.
You shouldn't really increment the position, like the shape position x and y, because you're doing that in the JS export. So you should only return the delta here.
Oh, well, okay. So we have the shapes here, but we also, you reminded me, thank you. We also have to set the drag points to null and the start points to null.
Yeah.
So start point null, drag point null. So now we'll see that still disappears. Maybe I had to switch these. So close. It's like a magician. I'm just making them disappear. which wasn't the point, but yeah. Here's an easy way to figure this out. Const dx equals, we are going to just get this, and const dy equals, we're going to do that with y, and we're going to console.log dx dy, and then this should be plus dx, this should be plus dy. Okay, so if we move it a little bit to the right, I want to see what that ends up as. And it's not really, We're on dragging, and we have shape.pointer up. And now we have the dx of 26 and the dy of negative 39. Yes, This is why TypeScript is good. So in the comments, we have Kevin. Thanks, Kevin. This is what TypeScript is for. This entire string is just a big old advertisement for TypeScript. So now let's find out. Oh, went the wrong way. So let's see. We have dx of 48 and dy of, Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why it sort of just disappears. Because we do have the dx and dy. Here, let's set these to 0. Maybe that's not the problem. Yeah, so it does disappear for whatever reason, which is very, very strange. That is extremely strange.
You see the dx and dy is negative.
Well, I mean, all right. So it's actually doing something even weirder than that. So I'm like 90% sure that this logic is correct, but the shapes are disappearing for a different reason. So I guess if I open up my console and we do a little bit of debugging, they just disappear. Oh, you know what? I think we're filtering by context.selection.includes shape.id.
Yeah, you're only because they're okay. What you're returning here? Wait.
Okay.
What line is that? Okay, so at 153, you are returning. Well, they disappear because on line 164 you had an empty array that you're mapping.
Oh, well, yeah, that was just for debugging, but
And
still
this
we
shouldn't
might be
be
on this.
But this shouldn't be selected shapes, right? Because you're basically reducing the number of shapes to the selected shapes here.
Oh, you're right. You're right. So context.shapes.map. So if if context.selection, if it doesn't include the shape.id, then just return the shape.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Otherwise, we are going to actually move them. So we don't really even need this anymore. Select. Thank goodness. It's working, except that that's moving. And so that's moving because we are, okay. I understand why it's moving. When we're moving the shape, we are changing it based on that delta. So the drag point minus the start point, X and Y, regardless of if it's selected or not.
It's global for all the shapes.
Yeah. So we should say, we have drag point, start point. We could do this instead. If it's selected, or if it's not selected, return, and this is going to be dx0, dy0. Let Prettier do its thing. Select, drag. Select, drag. Let's do both. Drag. Let's add a few more. Select, drag.
Nice stuff. Works.
That was fun. Gotta love live coding. Okay, now you see that we actually have the pointer. So this is what Farzad was talking about earlier. If I move my mouse too fast, it gets glitchy because we're losing the elements that we were originally on. So we are going to add back our pointer capture and see if it magically fixes things. So
it even locks the pointer to moving when the thing that you're moving gets outside of the viewport.
Look at
you
that.
Still move it. Yeah, it's really, really nice.
That's
I remember
awesome.
the hacks that we used to do in old web when like pointer events weren't even like existing in the DOM APIs. Lots of hacking.
Yeah. So yeah, this is awesome. Now we have drag.
We never persist the positions, right, to local storage or somewhere.
No, we don't. We don't. And we could do that.
That should be pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And so, yeah, let's actually do that real quick, just because I do want to share how easy it is to actually persist the states. So go ahead and do this in a use effect for lack of a better hook, but we are subscribing to something. So, we could do it in a use effect, and we could also sort of throttle this so that it doesn't do it every single tick. But for now, I'm just going to show the basic usage. We have state, and we also have that actor. Let me put the actor ref from here. And so actually, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to get const, just to teach you all, ref equals canvas context dot use actor ref. And so we are going to, actually, we don't even need this, because we could say actor ref dot subscribe.
Zero
actually,
TypeScript. That's scary.
I know it's very, very, very scary. Actually, just kidding. Let's do that. So const const I equals set interval. We'll do this every second, just because I don't really want it to be done every animation frame. So just every second, we're going to do local storage dot set item, and we're just going to JSON dot stringify our actor ref dot get persisted state. So this is new, and this is new to v5. 2 arguments required. Oh, yeah, sorry. Give it the canvas. And so every second, it's actually going to persist. So if I do local storage dot get item canvas, we're going to get that entire persisted state. So, yeah.
Why do we do that every second, but not when the state changes in the actor? Why not we just simply subscribe, and if a state that changed is true, persist that?
Well, because this gives us more control, because guess what? As I'm moving my mouse, the state is going to change a lot. So every single time I move this, we're going to get that local storage call. And that could be expensive. So
unless like you do the equality where you just make sure that the things that you care about for persistent actually changed.
Exactly.
That's even more expensive than this whole 1 second timer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
So, okay, we have create actor context with canvas machine.
And Can I ask another V5 question, David?
Yes.
What's the difference between get persistent state and get snapshot?
Get persistent state actually recursively persists all invoked and spawned actors. So it's sort of superpowered. Yeah. And also different actors such as from promise, from callback, from transition, you could define what that persistent state should be. And especially when you decide to make your own actors, you could say, this is what I want the persistent state to look like, which might be different than just JSON stringifying the state that you get. So you might
basically basically have get a snapshot available in the API for people who want to just shallowly persist the state, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't see why people would go for get a snapshot when they can safely just rely on persistent state. I would default to that.
Right. Let's try something. I'm going to reload, and there you go.
Even the selection is persisted here?
Oh, let's find out. Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, it's gonna just persist everything.
If you're dragging while those two are selected and you're still dragging and something happens, like an exception or something, and the app crashes, you're still gonna continue that dragging after you reload.
Yeah, that'd be weird, but yes, you will.
That's just an observation.
Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna add next?
Just Oh wow, we have a little bit of time. So I'm just going to add one more thing just to show you how, like, you might be thinking, as always, why would I do this with the state machine? And it's because adding logic is a lot easier. So I'm going to copy this logic, for instance, because I really like it. We have this key down, target, normal, actions, assign, selection, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to go back to our, oops, I reloaded. Sorry, that's muscle memory. Like, I always just press Command R to go to a symbol, and that reloads the page I discovered in web browsers. So
I'm
just
not surprised
don't do
Command
that.
R doesn't reload Visual Studio Code because that's an Electron app.
Yeah. So in dragging, okay, get rid of all this. And we have shape pointer up, shape pointer move, beautiful. I also want key down, and I want the escape key. So when we press the escape key, we should be doing a couple things. We should, actually, no, we only need to do one thing. We just need to go back to normal. And
Shouldn't we nullify the drag point here?
I was going to get to that. So if I press escape, we're back to normal. Ah, but you see what happened? The drag point. So we could, and actually, Farzad, pop quiz for you. We could copy paste this and put it here. But what else could we do?
Well, you could make it a single action and then call that here.
And then where would it be?
You could put it as an entry in normal.
Yeah, or exit.
Or exit, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just do it. I mean, entry normal might work too, but I'll just put it here. So this is great because when the key, so basically any transition that exits this state will also do this assignment. We're setting the start point and the drag point to null, and same thing over here. So cannot read properties of null. Did I get in a weird state? Huh, probably got in a weird state. What did I do? We have start point null, drag point null. Let's see. Oh, what did I do?
What's the problem here? What was the error? I didn't pay attention.
Here. Start when I forget this is totally working. Oh, now I'm in a stuck state. So I guess that's one of the dangers of doing development and also doing local storage is that you might get stuck in a weird state. So
yeah,
but at least that sort of works more or less. So I'm just going to.
I mean, all you need to do is to bring it back to subscribe to state changes. that's. I'm thinking, what's the impossible state that you're stuck in right now?
Well, it's as I was changing stuff, it sort of hot reloads, and so if I make an error here, then it's just going to persist that to local storage, and that's not good. So local storage is really for you already have your code, it's in prod, you know that it's not going to change. So yeah.
Quick question for you. Steve says, just thinking about if you hypothetically had massive amounts of shapes in the canvas, could there be a more efficient way to target moves than filtering and iterating over context? I don't see any other way, really. Well, you need an array or an object.
There is a library I keep pointing to. It's called rbush. And rbush is specifically for things like this. You could see their demos, like if I, you know, we could bulk insert 5,000, just keep inserting a bunch. And it's going to be really, really efficient at...
How does it work?
It works by algorithms. So let's see, tree, rbush. I'm guessing because like an array is linear, right?
Yeah.
However, there's many different ways of like we're not doing things linearly. We're doing things in basically a 2D canvas. So I believe that what rbush does is it uses a tree, a tree data structure to say these elements are in this quadrant, these elements are in this other quadrant, and sort of do that in a fractal pattern so that it's more O log of n than O of n. But yeah, so I would say that you would use something like rbush or just different ways of doing that. So spatial index, that's the data structure. So for points, it allows you to perform queries like all items within this bounding box very efficiently, which is exactly what we need. So hundreds of times faster than looping over all the items. So yeah, that's basically a direct answer to your question. And we could use that. Maybe we'll do that in the next, the next one.
It's using a tree set. Okay. So tree set is a data structure you want because it's very efficient for finding ranges. Okay, I actually learned that a while ago, very recent.
Yeah, these algorithms come back to you.
This is nice. This is nice. I mean, Steve's not popping in the chat, but like that would have been very attractive for him.
Steve Ruiz.
Yeah, Steve Ruiz. Yeah, sorry, there are two Steves here. Another question by Steve. I'm thinking of storing more direct references than just IDs once you select shapes and applying updates to the references, but I'm not sure that's inherently better.
That's really interesting because you don't. So this goes back to like data normalization, and so it's an important database concept as well, where you sort of want to store the least information in order to get what you need. And so I'm thinking the reason that we would want to store IDs for things like selections instead of entire objects is consider a collaborative editing scenario. You don't really want to pass those entire objects through. So I would say that, just having those IDs would be better. But I mean, it's up to you. And it has to do with many things: performance, speed at querying data, things like collaborative editing and structures like CRDTs.
Yeah.
Also,
like, I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly. If you have multiple clients, like inside a collaborative environment, if I run like on a memory that's like 2 times better than yours, then I can probably like I mean, this is a stupid thing, but like I can save double amount of objects than yours, right? Because I have 2 times more memory. But if you had just IDs, I'm just thinking about memory allocation. If you just save the references, I don't know, but that's just an interesting thought.
Yeah, I messed up something somewhere, but it was working. You saw it working.
I mean, for the sake of simplicity, I don't really think we need to even persist the selection state. It's just weird.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, wait a minute. I knew why. So when you, let's see, shape pointer up, shape pointer move. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, I am a dummy. I told myself I'm going to do this in exit, and I completely forgot to do that. So here we go. This should work now. So click here. Okay, let's reload. Double click. Okay, now I'm not getting anything.
What state was that? Where is that exit action?
Cannot read properties of null. Reading X.
You're nulling in a place that you shouldn't.
Probably.
I didn't see the exit here. Do I need to reload too? Looks it's got really weird.
Okay, let's get rid of this, and we're going to, I'm just going to put it back up here. just to see. Just to get this working. That's good. Okay. And so for key down, I sort of want to do the same thing. And I'll investigate what's going on. There's probably For once, it's actually late at night for me too. So that's going to be my excuse.
You want to rename that to the actions, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we could select multiple, drag, and just to show you, I'm going to just double click, add a few more, select these, drag them, delete them, select, drag, press escape. And notice how when I press escape, they go back to where they were. So that's actually pretty cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, cool.
Okay, we got that pretty much in time. Awesome stuff. All right. I think that's the end of it, right? We built
Yes.
enough for today.
Yes, we
great.
did.
Awesome.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you, David, for your time.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for joining the stream.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.
See y'all.